Alright, take 3. This is What If Deku. I Killed Shiguaki, Part 7. A man sits in a bar, his head cloaked by the rest of his shiny material. Around his body was cloaked a metallic and mirror-like robe. He looked up past the bartender to see a small TV. On the screen of it was playing a broadcast. Hello and welcome today. We are Jesse and James. We are here with the weather report and also your general hero news. As you can see, there is a new villain on the rise, and the great Colossus Giganta Machina. That's right, Machina, sorry. Was released, an S+ disaster rank, capable of making itself into a gigantic continent. As we all know, it has a massive structure, able to become a massive moving land. He was recently released from prison. We have people on the grounds, policemen, ready to go. We're going to have a bet, a simple little poll on whatever villain that you think had released the recent villain. As all the polls go up, all of them listing different villains, but one listing a newcomer. Not that any villain would be named newcomer. No, that'd be quite hilarious. Only one person had voted for that newcomer. Well, alright then, let's get to the scene. They follow behind 3 cops as they blow a hole in the side of it. The massive structure shakes in anger, resentment. They walk up cautiously as one of the policemen shakes his head. The other, smaller one, comes up and takes up the camera, clearing off the camera's lens, making sure that the people can see. Thank you so much, young officer. What's your name? Jimmy. Good to see you, Jimmy. We wish the best of luck to you. Thank you. As he says in a very concerned voice. He turns around just to get blasted by a gigantic beam. All 3 of the men are dragged away very violently, almost like they heard a lot of their bones being crushed in an instant. It was instantaneous, almost like they didn't want to see. They didn't want the people to see. There was silence, an air of nothingness. Until, well, congratulations to whoever said an unknown. Almost like they were possessed. These people, they aren't natural, senors. They are quite idiotic. As the man gets up from his chair, crushing the glass inside of his hand. It made him mad. More mad than he's been before. As he starts heading out the bar, the woman says, "Don't forget your check, honey." He throws some of his money straight at her, almost piercing straight through the cutting board, and immediately hitting itself into one of the glasses as it swivels around and falls into it, politely. Well, okay then. It was a 20. 10 more than he owed. She looks up to the news again as the men are smiling. They're alien-like. The media, it's so flooded, so gluttonous in its consumption of heroes versus villains. They seem nonchalant about this loss of life. It was terrifying. Either way, it resumes back to the vodcast. The general that had gone with the troops was unlike them. It was a hero. The bunny girl hero, Miriko. She was captured as well. They don't know how she was captured, for she was far from the scene. It happened all of a sudden. She was drawn underground. This sensitivity is very high. Jesus Christ. It's fun doing it like this. But I can't do accents. It's very hard to do accents when it's this loud. It's like pop rocks. It's making me throw up. Alright. Sorry for that small intermission. We resume back. All the way back into the massive Giganto Machina. Considered now almost its own place. Its massive structure is towering above the rest of the world. He was sitting upright, in the exact position that Deku wanted him to be. He was sitting there, pondering and wondering about the world. By himself, he felt so lonely. It was in this loneliness that he found what his reason was. It was this wanting to be with another. But everybody had betrayed him. He had gained so much distrust for the world. So alone. And his love would never come to fruition. The only people that he had was his mother, Chisholm. Even Giganto Machina was hard to move into. He had found Giganto Machina so lonely, crying even. He fixed up his blood, fixing him from the bottom up, helping him, and giving him a friend. Thus, he became the best friend of Giganto Machina. He let him live inside of him, and even command him. He trusted him so, and he treasured their friendship. He made so many powerful friends, and yet he still can't find love. How agonizing. How painful. He feels like he can't trust anybody. But maybe if he could make one himself. That's it. You make one himself. So, after all of his days of practicing and training, using the blood, he came to a solution. He allowed the blood all to drain into the outside of his body. It focused into a beautiful face. Rashing body. Its body was more than conceptive. It was almost arousing just from being in this general sight of her. He couldn't even look at her without any sort of thoughts rushing through his head. And it so excited him. However, it was only a vision. But when he opened his eyes, it was real. He manifested it in front of him. She spoke to him, thoughts rushing through his head. She spoke in such a manner that it was silent, like a small mouse. His booming voice soon turned into a sighing howl. Could she really be a creation of me? She spoke. I have no idea why you have summoned me. Is it to kill? 'Cause I do not want to. I am made from the blood of your enemies, if that is correct. I wish to take no part. I understand. That is how we live, though. They They attack us over and over again. You need a body. As he picks himself up from his small throne, she says, no. This massive ballroom now, shimmering in the light and the blood that he controlled it with. It seemed so simple all of a sudden. Maybe he could rest with her. You know, I'm only just a maid from you. I know. That's why I want to give you a body. I don't want any murders to be committed in my name. I am made from your living flesh and blood. I will take from you what I would not take from others. He's like, damn it. I grinded so much. Bellows from beneath them, and bellows from the right of them. The world shakes for just a second, as Deku places his hand onto the walls. What is it, friend? As he hears from the deep depths of it, he can hear Gigantomachina talking. Oh, did I forget to explain that Gigantomachina has been, basically this time, Gigantomachina's, enlarge ability is basically times 4 in this version. He's this massive continent kind of man, and he can barely even move. And he has scratches all along his back and from battles that have happened on top of him. And realistically, he just wanted to be treated like a human. However, nobody would do that. They would just use him as like a battle fortress. Deku was treating him like how he wanted to, and inhabiting some of the other rooms that have been left behind for him, mostly inhabited by other, villains. But he is no villain. He talks to Gigantomachina every single day through his mind. He's able to give him somebody to chat with, and thus is able to control Gigantomachina's endless rage for the human race. He tells him that someday he'll take him out for a walk, to view the world, to see it all, with no one that will stop him. He promises. He just needs to see his mother first. So, basically, we're going to go back, maybe, let's say a month from before. Before he created the girl. Before he had killed he didn't kill the policeman, actually. That's the surprise. I kind of failed at that, didn't I? But, as, per what Deku would usually do, he gets into the Gigantomachina. Setting down Chizome, he's terrified of what could happen. He's just so terrified of the world, he doesn't trust even himself. He's terrified. He doesn't know what to do, and he's rushing into Gigantomachina, searching for help, searching for some semblance of peace. And all he hears is some pain from the inside of Chizome. And just inside of him, they all share the same pain. And so Deku places his hand on the throne of it. As he lays Chizome down, Chizome starts to use blood to take out the bullets. I must get stronger. I have to defend everybody. To defend myself. And Chizome. Gigantomachina said, and me too. Will you defend me, or leave me like everybody else? I am a person too. As Deku says, yes, I will. Of course I will. Finally, Pescado catches up to Deku, catching him in the middle of the act when Deku saved Chizome. Pescado tells him, you owe me a fight. Deku says, fine, I'll give you one. You will teach me how to become as strong as you. I would love to. Come at me, Deku. As Deku is trained by Pescado how to not have to rely on the blood. He doesn't want to rely on the blood ever. So Pescado teaches him how to destroy even the strongest people in the world with just his hands. You don't need anything. You don't need to depend on anybody when you depend on my power. As Deku basically becomes the newest student, the rising star of this world, the rising villain. He doesn't care what they'll think about him. He will become the beacon for all those who have lost hope in the heroes and villains. He is the middle ground. As such, he will have to be the strongest, no matter how far they push him. And so Deku trains and trains and trains until his blood writhes in rage. He's able to control all of Gigantomachina's blood now that flows throughout the rest of his systems. Now, let's set our sights on the hospital where my mother's held. Alright, I think I have to stop it there. Thank you so much for watching, guys. That was a beautiful episode. Let's hope that the editing is just as good, and I think I am done for today. Goodbye, everyone.